Hello, family. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy E, the Dividend Passport Bro, back with another video. Guys, as always, I like to say thanks to all of our new subscribers. Thank you guys for watching, liking, and sharing the content. I appreciate all of you guys, okay? And I always like to tell you guys, this is not financial advice. I'm just a 52-year-old man that makes video about my portfolio and my portfolio alone, so do not take this as financial advice. Okay. Now, I've been doing this for a little bit over 5 years, investing um, for myself. Okay. We all at one point had somebody doing this thing for us. And I decided, you know what? I was doing better than my financial advisor and the guy that was managing my account. And I said, you know what? I can do this on my own. And I started doing it on my own. And after the first 6 months, right, when I look at how much I was spending and what I've done on my own, I decided to transfer all of my portfolio and take full control of my portfolio. So, guys, you don't have to just do this today and say, okay, you know what, I'm going to, no, you have to start little by little, understand what you're doing, learn a little bit, of course. And then when you feel comfortable enough, you can take full control of your portfolio. Okay. So with that said, guys, not financial advice. So guys, as you can see today, it was another amazing day in the market. We have not a lot of red. I mean, it's okay. We got a few reds, but not a lot of red that affected our portfolio to a crazy extent. Qualcomm, Meta, Home Depot, Waste Management, CDX, ExxonMobil, Qualcomm. Did I say that Qualcomm already? Procter Gamma, Disney, who else? Name a few companies are in the red today. But as you can see, grain, okay, Costco, Amazon, Visa, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Netflix, um, Google, Apple, Microsoft, okay, Nvidia, IBM, JP Morgan Chase, Berkshire Hathaway. Man, today the market was pretty decent, okay? And for me, I tell you guys all the time, once my portfolio is not losing money, right? If we make $300 in growth for that day, I'm happy. Okay, $300 in gains for that day in my dividend portfolio, I'm happy. Okay, but I did some tweaking to my portfolio today, so I added a few things to my portfolios, right? Guys, I tell you guys all the time, this eventually this gonna be my job, right? So I pay attention to it, right? Because and I don't just do a lot of different things to my portfolio all the time. Okay, I don't just jump up and be like, okay, well, you know what, it's cold outside today, so I'm gonna make changes to my portfolio. No, I don't just do that. I'll look at different things and see, you know what else I can add. So in my growth portfolio, I decided to add Visa to my growth portfolio. Okay, this is something I'm looking at earlier. So I decided to add Visa to my growth portfolio. Okay, now Visa is a dividend paying stock, but as you can see, it got a 0.69% dividend yield. Okay, so that's why I added them to my growth portfolio. So it's a dividend growth play, mostly on the growth side. So I added that to my growth portfolio. I also added Visa to my Roth for myself and for my daughters uh, um, account. Okay, added to my Roth and to my daughter's Roth account. Okay, because like I said, it's a growth play. And like I was talking to one of my buddies the other day, I was like, man, he's like, how much money I need to start? I'm like, it depends on how much you need, right? If you're using like Fidelity or Robinhood, which I think he's going to use, I mean, you just need $1 to pick up positions and put your money in there, right? But you have to do what you want to do, right? So in my Roth, yes, I did add Visa to my Roth account because I can't audition that money for another 10 years, so it don't make no sense. I added um, VIG, VTI, VYM, okay, um, to my Roth positions. And then I also added a couple, like $1 on my other positions that I just added in a few days ago in my in my Roth. I mean, in my daughter's Roth also. Okay, so we're gonna have a little bit of distributions coming into the account for her, to where she's making anywhere from $10 to $20 a month. Right, she don't need it right now. But with compound, that's a Roth account, so that's gonna compound the next 20 years, and she don't have to pay no taxes on that. So just imagine, okay? So eventually, that whole Roth account will be generating thousands of dollars. But for now, $10 a month is pretty good for a 2 year old. Okay. And I also made changes in my, like I said, in my Roth, in my daughter's Roth portfolio. Um, wait for this thing to load. Okay. So in my Roth, I added CEG. It's a power company. Um, I added that to my Roth, and added a few dollars to my VYM, and my few dollars to VIG in my Roth. So I just add a little bit, a couple of dollars. Usually I just put this in as a holding, right? So when I get distributions that come into the portfolio, I can add, to that. But the lowest positions I have right now in my portfolio is VTG, VIG, which is about 89 cents. Okay. And I just purchased the position, and we'll keep it moving. Got to pay, those fees, right? And keep it moving. So if I'm going to wait, so, I'm going to wait until I have $10,000 and I can add it. No, it's already there, right? Something I wanted to add is already in there. So when the money comes through, boom, we keep it moving. Okay. And I did the same thing for my daughter other uniform transfer account for minors. Um, and that's the account pretty much for like her tuition. And can you imagine, a 4 year old already got $4,000 in that account? I mean, a 2 year old rather. She already got 4 grand in that account. And I started this account for her. It hasn't been that long, maybe 2 years ago. She's 2.5 years old now. 2 years ago, and she already got $4,000 in this account. So it paid a little bit of distributions. I got a mixture of higher risky stuff in there. Not a lot, but it's a mixture of higher risk stuff in that portfolio. But then I have the Microsoft, the Nvidia, JP Morgan Chase, the JEP, the JEPQs, and of course some curves positions in there. I just added WPay um, not too long ago in there, right? And at some point we're going to add Visa on here also, and what's the other position I wanted to add? I couldn't. SoFi, right? SoFi. I'm going to add SoFi because I purchased SoFi in my growth portfolio. I think at $6, and right now it's worth like 20 something dollars. So I wish I bought more at the time, but I'm going to buy a little bit more, try to get at least 1,000 shares of SoFi um, before it gets more expensive. Like I said, it's a good thing, the portfolio we lose some money today across the board, and that is, for me, that's amazing because that means we got more money coming into the portfolio. Our margins is going down, and that's more than anything else, right? That is more than anything else I can tell you guys. Okay. All right. So as you can see, Bitcoin was down at some point from yesterday, but in the last hour it's up 0.06%. Ethereum 0.02%. XRP is down below $3 again to $2.99. and in the last hour is down 0.46%. Okay. And that's the news for crypto today. When the market do a little dance, everything do a little dance. Okay. Uh Bitcoin is still the biggest guy in this bubble. Um, but I will tell you guys, invest in where you feel comfortable, right? Now, a lot of time, people who do that one-on-one with me, there's different, who go different route depending on their risk, the risk limit, right? What they're comfortable with. But I like to tell you guys all the time, buy things that you're comfortable in. If you don't know, if you love Michael Jordan shoes, right? Then you understand you have to know more about Jordan than me because I don't wear Jordans. I don't wear that expensive shoes. I don't think I own any shoes over that worth more than $100 except for dress shoes. But if you wear those expensive tennis shoes and you know all the people, the names of the players and all that stuff that own the shoes, then you should know about the companies that make the shoes and how much they're paying as far as their dividend company or it's a stock, this how the growth of the stock, how well the stock, is doing, how well the stock has done in the last 5 years. If you're into that kind of stuff, you should know where you're putting your money, and then you should invest in that, right? Because if it's good enough for you to wear, it might be good enough to make you some money. Okay, so I mean that's just my 2 cents. All right. So doing the normal hour today, the portfolio did another $20, $21.42, almost 1%, right? 0.80% today. And then right now in the after hours, we're down 0.01% at was at 34 cents. We're down 34 cents. Okay, in the extended hour. Now, being it's the weekend, right? Um, I have no idea what Monday is going to look like, how things are going to change for the portfolio, if we're going to lose all the gains we gained over this week. I have no idea. But when that done, the company would deal with it. Okay. And I haven't purchased anything in this portfolio today, neither here. I was holding to this. I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll wait. And I was telling you guys I was going to sell some of this position and throw that into something else. I might still do it on Monday if it's not too late. Um, to kind of collect some more income in this portfolio for this month, right? We ended the day down at 14%, right? The portfolio is up today 1.31%, $161.88. That's not bad. We just got a one monkey play in here, all right? We just got one thing in here. That's it. So I was thinking, I was like, well, I talked about this already. We already down, right? I was like, well, maybe I can sell maybe like $6,000 worth of stuff out of here, um, and move that funds to my other portfolio. Then I'm like, I just wait to see how many more weeks or days this thing gonna recover, right? I know at some point it's gonna recover. But how long we have to wait before it recover, right? So PLTR Palantir is up today, $5.42, right? So that's 3.06%. And it's up today. So of course, um, LTY, right, is up also today over here, $1.07, 1.68%, right? So, I mean, with everything that's going on, PLTY is like a rock star and they are killing it right now. So, they don't pay no dividend, not a dividend position, but overall, the financials for this company is incredible. And they're doing amazing, right? They're doing amazing. So until hit a little standstill somewhere there, we're gonna continue to invest in these guys because my growth portfolio right now is pretty much volunteer. Okay, I have probably I'll say if maybe $6,000 of my almost $20,000 growth portfolio is in Palantir. Okay, the actual Palantir in my growth portfolio. So of course, in my growth portfolio, I don't have any of the yield max funds and all that stuff in my growth portfolio, right? Only growth stock, okay, or dividend growth stocks I have in there. So we do get a little bit of dividend from those 0 point something percentage or 1%, stuff like that. We do get distributions from that. So that I keep that portfolio separate from my dividend portfolio because I mean, I figure if I need to do anything in those accounts, I'll have to sell to move, and I don't, I need to make money to have the lifestyle that I have. So I invest in things like PLTR, Palantir for long, for long term. Okay, at some point, these guys will get to $1,000 a week. They might do a three-way split, something like that. But I'm trying to get my position back up at least to 250. So whenever they do that split, three-way splits, four-way split, I can have at least 1,000 shares. So that's it. 1,000 shares for me is good. I don't need more than that, because they're gonna keep doing what they do and making me a lot of money. Okay, guys. And we come to the snowball over here, and we're talking about the cash management account, and you can see the growth is amazing. Okay, it's amazing. We're up $11 today in that portfolio. I cannot complain. 3.6%. That is good, right? For a small portfolio, 3.6% in profits, right? So $48.47. That is amazing, right? And we also got money coming into this portfolio tomorrow. So we have money, the distributions coming in. So my cash management account. And today I tried to add my bill pay stuff to my cash management account, and I couldn't really do it. Right, I did four of the accounts, information I had on hand. The other ones I couldn't really do it, so I was like, I was a little frustrated. But I added Southern Energy. I can't even talk SO to my cash management account, and I added Next Air Energy, the NEE. I added those guys to my account also. So I added SO, right? Southern Company. I added these guys um, to my account. And I mean, they don't pay that a crazy dividend, but 3%. Because it's not a margin account, so I can add stuff in there with lower yield, um, and I don't have any issues with that. Right? And I had NEE next energy. Okay, so I added these gaps in here. Also, the dividend is not bad, 3.19% in dividends. And it's an energy company. So I got two energy company into this portfolio, trying to, have a some stable, some stability, right, to what I already have in the portfolio as I continue to diversify and build my portfolio. Now, my higher yield portfolio, of course, we got stuff above that 6.5%. I still might have some stuff in there below that because at some point they were in the red, so I decided not to sell. But after the week we had, a lot of those guys should be closer to being in the green to where I can get them out of there. And sell out of those guys. Okay, boys in the hood. Um, I'm going to be doing some changes, right? Not changes, but adding more funds to this portfolio. Um, when I closed this account before, I'm trying to get away from all of the uh, margin issues I had before. It looked like I had a negative 13 plus $1,000 more than that in there. So it's still showing that my portfolios have a negative 13,000. But I think that is fine because it's showing that I have invested 15,000. I think that's come from that. But as we add more funds to this and as this portfolio going to grow, it gives me a benchmark to target. So that $13,000 we have a target to bring that back to bring it to a positive standpoint. I think there's something definitely that we're going to be do a lot of with all of the changes that I made to the portfolio. Um, it's something that we're going to be able to do no problem at all. Okay. And this thing is still growing, right? As far as the distributions, it's still growing. We're trying to get it to $100 a month, um, and we're gonna be there soon, right? By this time next month, we might be at $100 a month with all of the increase, adding new funds to the portfolio. We're gonna be there, and that's what I'm looking for, right? When we hit 12, we hit that $12,000, 12,000, $1,200 annual. We'll be at that $100 a month, and we'll continue to grow from there. We got to get this thing to $10,000 uh, a year. I mean, I think $20,000 a year is pretty good. That would be enough to cover tuition and any other expenses my baby girl can have in the university, which is my boys in the hood account. Now my big boy account, I left on that already. So as you can see, we're still at $23,000. Now, tomorrow distributions video is going to be pretty interesting um, because I made some changes doing on Wednesday. I purchased some things to add to the positions, and I was like, man, I hope this is not a mistake. But so far, it turned out to be a good mistake because we did get some extra income coming into the portfolio, and this position didn't go down more than the distributions that we're getting into the portfolio. So that was a good move. So if it can hold till next week, right? I was going to sell out of it today, but then the market was kind of down. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to hold it till next week to see how good um, it does. So and when I sell out of it, right? When I sell out of it, to put their funds either put their funds into something else either Monday, or Tuesday, depending on how well the market does, I would just pull the funds back out. We already got the distributions, and I have that buffer sitting in there that I can spend on whatever else I choose to. Okay, so and that's where we are so far for today. As you can see, the overall portfolio is growing again, but not at the speed as it was before. Because like I said, I made a lot of changes, and I'm still making adjustments to my portfolio because I'm trying to knock down some of these losses. Um, so it's a work in progress, guys. It's a work in progress, and at some point we're gonna get to where we need to get to. Right now, this thing here is showing $1,300 on annual, and then in the other portfolio is showing $900 and something dollars. So some of these things they can agree on something, right? Now, in my other portfolio, we have 9,300, right? And now that's more than enough to cover my car payment for the entire year and pay off some of the insurance for the car as far as income goes. Now we already generated about 400 something dollars already this month, right? And because I made that change last month, so go with only one PLTY and sold off all the other stuff out of the portfolio. So I'm not sure why the thing's still showing, um, you know, the other two positions because they've already been sold out of the portfolio. But you know what, it is what it is. But at some point, it will update. Okay, so we're looking at income here still at 20. Was like 30 something yesterday. Let's see if the thing did anything, right? So it's still at $33,000. Future value is portfolio 11 million, 0.2 million in 10 years. And then it will go to the 5-year mark, 2.1 million. So that's still decent, guys. This is pretty good. And the growth in the portfolio 5.8%. And then the yield is 94% yield. So I mean it's still pretty high. It's still pretty high, but as you guys know, I got a lot of different things in my portfolio. Not only the extreme high yield and the high yield positions, as I like to call them. Okay, guys. So with that said, guys, I hope we cover everything for today. I mean, I can still go on. There's so much things to talk about, but it is so easy to be able to live off dividends if you take your time, right? If you have a simple goal, if you want to be making $20,000 a year, I mean, it's possible, right? You need maybe $500,000, and you can get that if you have a mixture of extreme high yield, mid yield, and some low yield invested in your portfolio. But also the risk is there. Okay, you can use margins, and you just need maybe $250,000 to generate that, and then some. But then you have to pay that margin back. It's kind of like getting a bank loan to invest, right? The difference is between the bank loans and margins. With the bank loan, you just make enough to pay that bank every month. With margins, if that positions you have drop in value to a certain extent, you get a margin call and they will sell your position to cover that. And you're still gonna owe them, right? You're still gonna owe them that $20,000 you borrowed on margins. They're just gonna be paying that tax, that difference in the position. So that's the risky part about margins. Okay. So that's why I tell you guys all the time, don't mess with margins if you don't have to. Okay, guys. With that said, you guys need to have an amazing, amazing Friday. And tomorrow we're going to make our video about how much money we generate this week. And you are going to be quite surprised. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.